Have you been on a lifelong search for answers through your chronic pain, sabotaging habits, anxiety, or depression? You've gone to doctors, therapists, and coaches only to be left feeling more broken than you did when you started. Are you fed up coming against a brick wall every time you think your life is starting to get better? And most importantly, are you ready for the clarity that you need so you can create a life of purpose that you deserve? If that's you, then this video is for you, and I'm about to share some new research that has been changing lives around the world. Hi, I'm Amber Lee, and I help strong women transition from fear and trauma so they may transform into their life of purpose. The Adverse Childhood Experience Study has shown the negative impact that stressful or traumatic childhood experiences have on the development of a child. The impact presents in the child's adult life as an emotional, physical, and mental issue, most like we recognize today. Recent studies reveal that experienced childhood trauma can lead to mental health illness, depression, or chronic health problems such as cancer, diabetes, heart problems, or even early death. The term originated in 1995 when the Center for Disease Control and the Kaiser Healthcare Organization in California collected data from 17,000 patients on their child and adolescent history. The interest peaked when physicians interviewed participants who had dropped out of their weight loss program. In an attempt to understand the women's resistance to the program, an alarming percentage of the women had reported early sexual abuse in their histories. This groundbreaking study founded an all-new awareness that childhood trauma and instability can lead to adult health problems and even toxic stress. The ACES study shows that the higher number of unpleasant experiences that a child has while growing up or as a teenager, the more likely they fall sick or experience early death when they are adults. What the ACES study measures are called the ACES scores, which is on a scale of 0 to 10. A score of 0 means that the person being evaluated did not have any adverse childhood experience, while a score of 10 means this person had a lot of traumatic childhood experiences. The higher the ACES score, they are more likely to fall sick or experience trauma, toxic stress, or even death quicker than others with little or no adverse experiences. Adverse childhood experiences can be divided into 3 specific areas that try to capture the different bad experiences or mentally and physically damaged experiences that a child might have gone through. The ACEs were identified during early childhood, ages 0 to 3 years, childhood, ages 4 to 12 years, and adolescents 13 to 17 years. It has also been documented through other ACEs studies. Teenagers often received ACEs outside of their homes from bullying, peer exclusion, and maltreatment by adults that they were under the care of. The focused areas from the 1995 study are neglect. This can be linked to children that do not receive physical attention while growing up, or even emotional. Neglect can be in the form of not having parents or other family members on the ground to help shape the lives of the child or make certain decisions. It could also mean having a primary caregiver physically present but unable to emotionally connect to the child. Physical and emotional abuse. Children in this category experienced either physical abuse from parents and other family members, or emotional abuse in the form of humiliation, or raised to have low self-esteem. Some of the children in this category might have also been sexually abused, which has taken a toll on their physiology and mental health. Household dysfunction. Some children might have experienced family violence, incarceration of one or more family members, substance use or alcoholism by family members, divorce, mental health illness, and spousal battery were also documented to have adverse effects on adult life. Turning the page on how we understand trauma. This groundbreaking study has set in motion a movement across the world. Health professionals, specialists, coaches, and educators have not only become passionate at understanding the realities these studies provide us, but have reinvented their entire practices because of it. ACEs change the architecture of our brains and the health of our immune system. ACEs impact the body and mind with inflammation and can be accredited to most or all health issues in chronic pain and degenerative disease that riddles our healthcare systems to this day. These moments in time, often buried or forgotten, predict our ability to respond to the world and writes the story for our future relationships with ourselves and others. I believe the importance of this information is hands down one of the biggest discoveries of our modern ages. My own healing journey led me down a rabbit hole of twists and turns that landed me dead smack in the midst of this amazing research. With this new awareness, I have been able to understand my life of self-sabotage, toxic relationships, and my constant need for acceptance. Today, I have joined in this worldwide movement using the ACES study as a foundational piece within my coaching program designed to help women who suffer from trauma and toxic stress. Neuropsychiatrists all over the world have been diving into their work on the mind-body connection to truly understand the biochemical processes that happen through the developmental years of someone who has been riddled by the experience of stress in their lives. Some of the labs uncovered the following significant changes within the mind and body. The cleanup crew goes off duty. The decrease in the microglia of the brain causes inflammation. A child's mind is like a disconnected computer that holds all wires and parts ready to be programmed by their caretakers and their environments. As the child develops, their brain will connect in ways that reflects their environment for the best chances of their survival. The microglia prunes and cleans up the connections, helping the child's brain to develop in an effective and organized manner. Research on the microglia has brought light to this misconception that the immune system is solely being found inside of the body. Microglia is in fact the immune system of the brain. Children who experience ACEs in the early years often struggle with controlling emotions, staying focused, and decision-making skills. The size of the brain will shrink. The area of the brain called the hippocampus is responsible for managing stress, memory, and processing emotions. When chronic stress is a daily occurrence for a child, they release a chemical inside of the body that literally shrinks the hippocampus in size. The frontal part of our brains that jumps online through later developmental years is also widely impacted. The functions of our prefrontal cortex bring us the ability to add logic and reason, helping us in handling proper decision-making and self-regulation. Last but not least, the area of the brain responsible for survival response also affects the children unable to manage stress, prone to anxiety, and often overreacting in their adult life. Ahead of their time. Have you ever been surprised by how much older a child may look than they actually are? Research has shown that living inside of stress is literally like reverse time machine. We have what's called telomeres on the ends of our DNA. These act like tiny plastic tips on the end of our shoelaces, and we all know what happens to the shoelace once those plastic tips fall off. The shoelace starts to fray and it will shorten in length, just as our lives do. Children with higher ACEs showed more of a deterioration in their telomeres. Shorter lives, aged cells, and disease become an end product from this breakdown of these tiny little DNA caps. Stuck in survival, our brains hold a very primitive function that allows humans to get to where they are today. This portion of the brain combines thoughts and memories, deciding moment from moment what's relevant or not. This autonomic function gives us the ability to react quickly and be ready for anything thrown our way. Children who experience some form of trauma in their early years are shown to have less connectivity in these default modes, thus leaving them with less control. Children who suffer from PTSD struggled in their adult lives to see the world as a friendly place, often predicting the worst of themselves and others. It's been no secret that women have been nearly twice as likely to suffer from emotional and mood disorders than men. Women also have a higher risk of issues related to anxiety and autoimmune dysfunction. The ACES study reflects these issues within its data. So, how do we reduce the effects of ACEs? It should be known that people with ACEs are not irreparably damaged. They have had a rough experience, no doubt, but this does not mean that they cannot be helped to live a healthier life. Ultimately, ACEs are a disruption of development within the nervous system. It is important to understand that trauma stored in the body cannot be just cured with most mainstream remedies in medication, talk therapy, or positive thinking. We need to also do our part as parents, caretakers, and educators of future generations to become ACE aware. One of the ACEs studies showed how children who suffer from childhood adversity, even at the worst levels, could be positively impacted by someone in their environment by the time they reached 18 years of age. With all of the pressure and stress society places on parents, on top of the lack of jobs and a broken economy, it's no wonder parents lack attunement to their children. One key takeaway is that this is not about blame or how badly parents screwed up their kids. The harsh reality is that parents also have ACEs and unhealed trauma that they were taught to bury inside of them so they can provide for their children. We need to stop the stigma on mental health problems and addictions and start asking the questions, what happened to you, instead of what's wrong with you. Only in that depth of compassion we truly understand ourselves and raise our consciousness enough to begin to heal the world from its real pandemic of childhood adversity experiences. Some of the things that can be done are therapeutic interventions, trauma-informed care and practice, ACE based on screening and referral to identify the root causes early enough. If you have been feeling as if you are swimming against an invisible current, that for some reason nothing ever seems to go right, or that it seems like you sabotage the very things that you want most out of your life, you may have experienced ACEs yourself that have been buried inside of you, dictating your every thought, feeling, and choices that you've made for yourself. You are not crazy, broken, or undeserving of happiness. I would love to hear your thoughts on ACEs. If yourself or someone you know has been impacted by ACEs, Just shoot your comments below. I will answer to everyone. And if there's someone that you know that could benefit from this information, please do share. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.